Hello, everybody. Welcome to our December iSPI Spotlight event. I'm so excited for this one because it's really a connection back to purpose. It's a perfect time to be celebrating why we are here, why all of us are here, and that's the kids. And so I am so honored to be able to share that the International Children's Advisory Network is our Spotlight member this month. And they have been a great partner to iSPI. We formalized our partnership at the end of last year and are excited of the work and the synergy that is between both of our societies, and which is really the kids and improving kids' health. And so I am here to introduce Amy Omer, who is the director of the International Children's Advisory Network, and Leanne West, who is the president of iCAN and also an iSPI board member. And I'm excited to meet the kids and to learn more about iCAN and have all you learn more about iCAN. So thank you.
Thank you, Dawn, and thanks iSPI for letting us be your spotlight so we can reach a little more people, let them know what iCAN is all about, and they can see our kids in action. So as Dawn said, I'm Leanne West, and I'm the president of the International Children's Advisory Network. We are a nonprofit dedicated to the importance of the pediatric patient voice in healthcare. We have 29 chapters around the world, as well as one virtual chapter, and we're on 4 continents. We have kids age 8 to 18 roughly throughout iCAN, and about 95% of them have some sort of medical diagnosis. There's about 5% who have no medical diagnosis, but we think they're important too because they represent that child that might get diagnosed later in life with something. We have our kids do things like speak at conferences. It's amazing to watch a 12-year-old talk in front of 300 people. We have them interact with industry and give their feedback on things like, I don't know, pictures and images that are going to be used in a drug trial campaign or something like that. We have them give feedback on questionnaires and surveys and focus groups so that everybody can learn from our children. We also have a seal of approval. So once our kids have given you their input on whatever you're trying to build or put together, then you can show that it's kid reviewed and kid approved, and just let everybody know that you took the time to have kids come in and give their opinion on what you're trying to do so that everybody knows it's going to be good for the kids then that you're trying to serve. We have an annual conference, and this past year it had to be done virtually like most everything else. But we are hoping with the vaccine and everything that we might be able to be in person this next year. It would be in Lyon, France, July 12th through 16th. Anyone is welcome to join us. The programming is meant for kids, but it's also meant for people who are going to interact with kids from industry or from the healthcare world, because sometimes our kids are really the expert of their conditions. And so they're the ones who know what it's like to live with a condition or what it's like to go through a treatment. And we kind of forget as adults what that used to be like. Plus, so many things are different now than they used to be. We also have another program that we do. This one is monthly. It's called Ask the Experts. And Anthony Chang, who everybody I'm sure on the phone knows, is our host for Ask the Experts. And again, going back to that idea of sometimes the doctors are going to be the experts, maybe in what a medical career looks like. And sometimes the kids are going to be the experts, like, how do I want you to interact with me? What do I want you to know next time you talk to a kid? We also have a curriculum that we've started developing on our website. And this is to really help the kids do a better job at telling their story. So kind of helping them grow to be an advocate and an advisor all around. So first we started with telling your story. And right now we're working on understanding clinical trials. And so if anyone ever wants to help us with curriculum, you think you have some good materials, we're all for it. We take anything at iCAN. And then just kind of lastly, I want to say that, you know, we have community partners and sponsoring partners. So iSPI is a community partner with us, and our sponsoring partners, they're the ones who really get to help us make sure that we can continue to give the kids these kind of services and these kinds of opportunities to get our kids where they need to be to tell their stories. So we really, really appreciate everybody who's ever been a sponsor or community partner for iCAN. It's really important to have you so we can keep doing what we do for the kids. Amy, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, hi everybody. Welcome to today's event. We are so delighted and happy to have you here. My name, for those that do not know me, is Amy Omer, and I am the director of the International Children's Advisory Network, which we just go by iCAN. And really that sums up what we can do. We all can do something to help pediatric healthcare. Within my role, one of the things that Leanne touched on just a moment ago was developing new chapters. And that's a little different than might it be working through the iSPI avenue. So how we do it through iCAN is anyone can start a chapter, and we can start a chapter anywhere. We have 29, as Leanne had mentioned, and one of those is our virtual chapter. So if it seems insurmountable right now, which in a moment I'll explain how it works, it's super easy, we can still get kids involved at any location, anywhere, to share their voices. For us, we don't charge, so there's no cost to having a chapter. You can start one through your own community. You can use the hospital as the backdrop to your chapter and have children who are participating who might have a medical illness or a diagnosed condition. But you could also work with higher education or simply just work from your community. Our Bay Area chapter is a brand new chapter, and that one was started by one of our 12-year-old youth members that you'll get to meet in a moment. And really, it shows how easy it is to start a chapter. He had an idea. He wanted to bring his classmates together to share information on different medical conditions and really spark that understanding of what it's like to be a kid who lives with something. And so he came to us and said, can I start a chapter? We said yes. We gave him some guidelines and helped him on his way. Most of our meetings for our chapters are monthly. So they'll meet for an hour, maybe two. I always say the cost is really just a pizza dinner if you feel like you want to do something to bring the kids together. But the kids run their own events, they run their own meetings, and they say what ideas that they would like to learn about, or we can infuse the iCAN chapter with some ideas that we're doing internationally. So we'll have surveys or those focus groups that Leanne talked about, or opportunities to speak, and the kids can learn about that. We also, on our website, that educational curriculum that Leanne touched upon, that can also be used as a guide for meetings. So when they want to learn about something, they can go back to the educational curriculum and learn about things like clinical research or how to tell their story. There's many, many ways to run the flavor of the chapter however they would like. But what's great is we bring all the chapters together and we meet at our annual summit. This year for 2020, we were online, but previously the kids loved it even more so because they could get together, and we alternated between Europe and the US. The online version was really fun because the other nice piece to that is we were able to get a lot of kids who couldn't have attended in the past, and they were able to attend this year from sometimes the comfort of their own hospital bed. So that was nice, and we'll continue to have that virtual component going forward into this next year. All the information for our chapters is on our website at icanresearch.org, so you can find out how to set one up. And then also we are always available, Leanne, myself, and Claire Destromp, who is also attending this meeting, is able to help you get started, and we really want you to be successful, so please let us know what we can do to help. And Leanne, I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, like Dawn said earlier when she did an introduction for us, that, you know, we have really tried to create a formal relationship with iSPI, because iSPI is the provider side of things, the clinician side of things. And iCAN is really that patient-parent arm. Again, that's why we do everything we do, right? So it's just been a wonderful relationship. I've been honored enough to have been part of both iSPI and iCAN since the very beginning. So what we want to do next is we actually want you to hear from our kids. Knowing that this is school hours for some kids, we had them record videos. And you're going to hear first from Ananya, who is our youth council leader. And she also is on our advisory board because we think it's really important to have the kids on the advisory board to give us input, because this is really a group for kids. And she's going to tell you about some of the kind of activities that our youth council does. Then you're going to hear from Rhiannon, and she is from our DC chapter. And she's going to tell you a little bit about her experience talking At the FDA, that's another group that calls on us periodically to give them kids to talk at their meetings. And she is, you'll see her, she's wonderful. And you can just tell she was so proud of herself for having been able to speak to the FDA, and it was such an important experience for her. And then you're going to hear from Yelena after that. And she is just going to talk in general about why iCAN is important to her. And just so you know, this is pre-recorded. This one was done for our conference this past summer, if you see that, but we just love Yelena and showing her off. So here we go. Claire, if you want to start the videos with Ananya.
Hi, my name is Ananya Ganesh, and I'm the chair of iCAN's Youth Council. One of the ways by which iCAN's Youth Council strives to impact healthcare innovation is through our research projects. Because these survey-based projects gather responses from a diverse pool of members across the country, or really even the world, we're able to gain both insights into some unique challenges and opportunity spaces. These perspectives can be extremely valuable to healthcare providers, caregivers, educators, industry partners, and policymakers. You know, for instance, one of the projects we're working on currently is to determine how the pandemic has impacted youth with chronic illnesses, not just in terms of obtaining the needed care, but also if and how isolation has affected them. If they're able to access special resources at school, if they're faced with any difficulties in obtaining medications. So I think that iCAN's Youth Council research projects is a powerful medium for us to express what we really want stakeholders to know about our needs and challenges. Thank you.
I'm Rhiannon Perry. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Manassas, Virginia. Recently, I had the opportunity to join the FDA summit regarding iCAN. And the opportunity presented to me was a gift because I was able to use my experience to help others. This summit was important because I feel as though as a patient, sometimes it can be difficult to understand and feel as though others around you are there to help you and to feel as though you're connected to others during this time or people who understand what you're going through. And while some of the people at the FDA weren't necessarily patients, they did have a strong understanding of everything that was going on. And not only that, but they were working towards improving the experience of a pediatric patient, which was really important. And another part that was important to me was just shining a light on certain issues that aren't always talked about. And for me, I feel like the experience was such a great one to be able to use my past knowledge or my experience and my time in the hospital to improve the time for other patients and to work along that. My hope for the future is that this platform will be able to expand and not only give me the opportunity to explain things that I feel comfortable with that I'd like to change, but to also expand that to other patients and give them a voice. I also hope that one thing can change is giving patients more accountability and more control over things. Personally, I feel like one of my biggest challenges during my treatment or any treatment that I've endured is just the loss of control and not feeling as though anything is in your hands, because when you have your health issues, there's nothing that you can really do to control it other than taking your medication and doing the things that are asked of you. But giving patients a little bit more control and talking to them about the things that are going on and having them more engaged in their treatment can definitely improve the experience. And I know that from just being able to be a part of my transplant experience and, just coordinating my medicines and coordinating my appointments and looking at things and not 100% having control over everything, but just an aspect of that, which can improve the patient experience. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. And I'm looking forward to all of the changes that are being made and all of the efforts and continuing this process with you guys again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yelena. I'm sorry I can't share this speech with you in person, but here's my speech for the iCAN Summit of 2020. iCAN grants me and every youth to have a voice. iCAN is not just an organization, but a community of children where each individual, no matter the location, can be heard. For myself in Illinois, this means I get to share my story with you, share my medical care and treatment, share my advantages and disadvantages to improve healthcare facilities. We all need to work together to build the best medical care we can provide. So many opportunities have been offered and accepted to share a piece of my life to anyone who wants to listen. When I was younger, I never imagined how impactful my voice could be. Here's my story. I was born with a genetic mutation which led to the diagnosis of laminopathy, also known as Emery-Dreifuss muscular dystrophy. My treatment included physical therapy, occupational therapy. I did serial casting for 9 weeks, twice in my life, and I developed scoliosis around 9 years old, which was ultimately treated with a spinal fusion. Right now, I'm currently undergoing some cardiac-related symptoms, and as a precaution, we've inserted a loop recorder to keep track of it until a cardiac device is necessary.
How about the Asian blend?
I've managed to participate in all my interests. I had a Make-A-Wish grant. We received a handicap accessible van from Thumb Buddy Special, which is an organization. I went to MDA camp. I participated in theater and choir, just like every other kid. And I pursued internships in animal-related fields. Even at this very moment, where public activities are limited and I thought I had nothing to do, iCAN offered me more ways to stay connected to my hospital. My hospital has offered me such amazing care and opportunities, and I just want to say thank you to Lurie's Children's Hospital. Not only has iCAN impacted my quarantine, but also the outlook of future medical care for children. Children should have a voice when it comes to their treatment as well. I know that children need the consent of parents, and which is totally understandable, but each child should have a voice. This network is truly inspiring, and it motivates me to share my voice. It's remarkable to exchange stories with other children through iCAN, who may or may not share similarities with me. The fact that they embarked their journey and are here to share it with us makes it so memorable. I know there are many challenges that I have yet to face that will come and go, but one thing that is guaranteed is I will be heard, and that's granted by iCAN. Thank you. Have a nice day.
So there you got to see a few of our kids in action. I think some takeaways from the videos are, one, how amazing our kids are when they speak. I know you agree with me because they stun me every day. Hearing Rhiannon talk about loss of control, I think that that's a big thing for a lot of patients, adult or child. And I think that our kids, if you talk to them, will tell you to talk to them when you're talking to them in a meeting and not just with their parents, because they're the ones who need to hear it. And if you talk to them directly, then you get to give them a little bit of that control back. So I think that that's great. The other thing to know about Yelena is, she does have aspirations in the healthcare field. A lot of our kids do. And so one day these kids are going to be your colleagues, and they're going to help bring about treatments, and they know some of these things aren't necessarily going to be for them, but it's going to be for the next kid who comes along. And I think that that's really important too. So right now what we're going to do is play a couple of short videos from some of our sponsors, and to give you an idea of what kind of things we can do with our sponsors and what kind of things that they get out of having these relationships with our kids. And I think we have Eli Lilly, UCB, and Worldwide Health coming up. Claire?
everyone. I'm Mitch Herndon at UCB. I'm a head of patient engagement within UCB's clinical studies. UCB is a mid-sized biopharmaceutical company. We're a global company, and we've been working with iCAN for the past couple of years. I've had the pleasure of working with Leanne and Amy and the team and being on the board, and I can say it's been a huge success from our standpoint. A big part of the focus for us is to work with patients across the clinical development continuum, meaning the idea of patient-focused drug development, to interact with patients, to get feedback from patients, to make sure that we're in fact working with patients and not for patients. So the idea of pediatrics is hugely important because kids, youth, they're not only the present, but they're the future. So when we got more and more familiar with iCAN, we realized, wow, we need to be interacting with them more. So we've had the luxury, the pleasure of doing multiple focus groups globally. We've gotten a wonderful amount of feedback from different kids across the world, kids living with chronic conditions, and the idea of getting the insights, getting that input from kids is hugely important. So we are in no way slowing down. If anything, we're going to do even more with the pediatric community. So I can say with confidence, UCB is a wonderful company, and I can say iCAN is a wonderful organization. So from a day-to-day perspective, in terms of writing a protocol, developing a study design, thinking about how we can reduce that burden to patients to make a really good clinical study, what we call patient-preferred clinical studies. Any input from kids and youth across the world that can help us do that better. So, long story short is that we're having a wonderful experience with iCAN, and we're so lucky to work with them, and we look forward to many collaborations in the future. I want to give a huge thanks to the many kids that are part of the iCAN chapters across the world, and if we've not worked with you yet, we definitely want to work with you in the future. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Courtney Tate. I am a clinical research scientist in pediatric capabilities at Eli Lilly and Company. Eli Lilly is a large pharmaceutical company, also commonly known as industry. And my professional goals focus on bringing new medicines and innovation to pediatric patients with unmet medical needs and contributing to moving the bar forward in pediatric research. Pediatric research enables us to have information for the drug label for pediatric use regarding safety, efficacy, and dose. And collaboration within the pediatric healthcare community is critical to achieving these goals, since all the key stakeholders, including patients, parents, and caregivers and advocacy groups, regulatory agencies such as the FDA and EMA, clinicians and academics, or the doctors that treat the patients, industry, and payers, all of which play an essential role in the success of pediatric research. Industry works with the clinicians, doctors, and scientists that are the experts at treating the patients and understanding the current state of the science and landscape and treatment. The regulators have the broader view of what is being pursued across the field and where the needs are. The patients, parents, and caregivers, along with the advocacy groups that bring expertise on the medical condition, what matters most to them, and what they need, along with the payers or the insurance companies to enable new medicines to be available to patients. Pediatrics is a tightly intertwined network where we need all the voices at the table to relay the issues and concerns and come up with attainable solutions. Each entity can only achieve so much alone and brings unique expertise and experience. So thank you all for your continued partnership as we work collectively together to achieve much more.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Derby. I am an Executive Director, Strategy Lead for Rare Disease at Worldwide Clinical Trials. Worldwide Clinical Trials is a medium-sized CRO based in Morrisville, North Carolina. I've been working in clinical research for about 25 years. And prior to joining Worldwide at the beginning of this year, I spent nearly 18 years on the pharma side leading clinical programs in both pediatrics and adults. And now in the space of rare disease, much of my focus is on the pediatric population. So it made absolute natural sense that when I met Leanne and Amy about a year and a half ago with iCAN, that we would hit it off. We all share the same passion in elevating the voice of the children who know everything so far better than we do, their condition, what they're experiencing, their day in, day out, impact on their families. And so for me, it's so important to listen to them. So I take every opportunity to engage with iCAN, learn from the kids, integrate their insights in all that we do, so that we can optimize their clinical trial experience and we can make improvements where possible. So iCAN, the kids have been amazing in joining our webinars to share insight about their clinical trial experience amidst COVID, what works, what doesn't, what is needed, where are there gaps. Additionally, the iCAN kids have shared their insights about some of our important documents that help support them when they're in a clinical trial. They have also been so gracious to share videos about their disease journey and experiences as ways that we can integrate in our organizational meetings to remind us as to why we do what we do, to keep doing what we do and doing it better and always listening to the patients. So I am so appreciative and thankful for iCAN and iCAN kiddos who continue to teach us and remind us. And I'm really looking forward to our continued partnership moving forward. We have lots of ideas to continue to build and strengthen and make sure their voice is heard. So thank you so much to iCAN and look forward to the continued collaboration.
So thanks. It's always great to hear from our sponsors and what kind of impact our kids have on the different activities they undertake. One thing I wanted to mention again that I said in the beginning is we have a seal of approval, which is actually there, a seal of approval that you can put on your materials when our kids interact with you and give you suggestions on how to make things better. And so a lot of things are getting our seal of approval now, and we're really excited about that. And we just want to thank again that our sponsors in general, because they make it possible to give these kids the chances to tell their stories and to give their opinions. And I think, you know, our kids know that that's something really special. And then when we put them in front of somebody, they know that they're talking to people who can make a difference. And so it's really that much more impactful for our kids when they speak. So we also want to highlight another couple of our kids. And one of them is Nadia. And Nadia's one of our virtual chapter kids, but she's also in the Los Angeles area. So we hope that when Chalk starts a chapter, that she'll be a part of that chapter. And what you're going to see from her, so our kids not only are amazing at giving feedback, like you just heard, but they also have a lot of really good ideas of their own. So Nadia grew up with chronic pain issues. And what you're going to see from her is a teaser for a video series she has made on chronic pain. And we're going to have that series completely available on our website. The first video in the series is up, and I think the second one is going to be up shortly. And then after you hear from Nadia, you're going to be amazed at how professional this video is. It's unreal. And then after you hear from Nadia, you're going to hear from Diego, who started our Bay Area chapter that Amy mentioned earlier. And he's really the first kid to take on starting a chapter and being a team leader. And I think that that's amazing in itself. But one of the reasons he wanted to join iCAN was because he has an interest in helping people, helping other kids. And so he's actually building a Minecraft world where you can go on different journeys through these Minecraft worlds, and you can learn about different kids' experiences with various conditions. And so while he does not have a diagnosed condition, we have him working with several of our kids around the country on various conditions. I think he's looking at cystic fibrosis first, and then I think he's going to look at type 1 diabetes after that. So Claire, if you could play Nadia's slide.
I remember very clearly the first day it began. I was 13 years old, and I was at a debate camp at Cal State Fullerton. In the middle of my speech, I felt a very sharp pain in my stomach that went all the way up to my chest. The pain was so bad that I had to go home.
What are you asking?
I'm saying, how are you feeling?
Not good.
What's happening?
Chest pain.
I had no idea that day would mark the start of my journey with chronic pain, one that's lasted over 3 years so far. A journey into hospitals, physician consults, supplements, drugs, infusions, every treatment you can imagine to figure out why I continue to feel pain all over my body. It's also been a journey into realizing that I'm not alone.
I'm not just missing school because I have a little headache. Like, I actually can't be here. It's like not healthy for me to be here.
Every person with chronic pain that I've talked to has dealt with doctors thinking it's not real.
Through everything I have learned, one thing became clear. Our conventional beliefs about chronic pain are wrong, and dangerously so. It's time we change that.
Hello, iCAN. My name is Diego Vasquez, and I am the founder of the Kids Bay Area chapter. Here at Kids Bay Area, we have 3 core objectives. Our first objective is to give to the community. Our second objective is to learn about new, interesting topics. And our third objective is to meet new people and have fun. For our first objective, we are working with Stanford Children's Hospital to give to people in need. For our second and third objective, I have created a Minecraft world that will use the medium of games to teach people about diseases. I'm hoping to launch it in January 2021. I look forward to meeting with you all, and I'm happy to be a part of iCAN.
So I know when you see those, Nadia, especially with her video, is just so very professional. And I just love that both of these kids and so many of our kids really want to do things to help other people to understand kids like them. It's really amazing. So definitely watch out for the video series with Nadia, because the first one in total is just phenomenal. Up next, if Tiffany Gear is still around, I wanted to just talk to her a little bit about the Mi3 Internship Program. So at iCAN, one of the things that we've started recently is a young professional program. And that's for kids who kind of age out of iCAN, so kids like 19 and up. So many of our kids want to stay involved. They want to be mentors to the younger kids. They have interest in careers in medicine, and so they wanted to learn more about that and have more opportunities to interact with that field. And so we started this Young Professionals program, and one of the things we want to do as our relationship with iSPI and Chalk grows is to really work with other groups like theirs who have an internship program that our kids might be able to participate in some way, whether it's maybe actually getting to be some of the interns at one point, or just talking to them so these interns have a better understanding of what it's like to interact with kids. So Tiffany, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that program.
Thanks, Leanne. I'm happy to do that. And we do have Dr. Anthony Chang on this webinar. So if you want to jump in, Dr. Chang, please do, because I feel like this has really been such a journey for us at Chalk. It started with one intern who asked Dr. Chang, can I follow you around? Can I be your intern? And he was gracious enough to say, of course. And here we are 8 years later. We've had 500 interns. And we have seen this program flourish with the investment of knowing that these are our future healthcare providers and doctors, and we want to change the way that they see things, coming at it with the lens of innovation and intelligence. And I see Dr. Chang here on the screen, so please jump in here. We are so proud of the work that we've been able to achieve, and certainly partnering with iCAN this year.
Yeah, I think this is what I call circular mentorship. They look to me as a mentor, but they teach me just as much. So that's the secret, to stay young in your career and avoid burnout. And I just gave an interview, I think last week, about burnout and how to avoid burnout. And I think the way you avoid burnout is go to your past mentors to visit them and remember what you were like when you were younger, and then look to your future for the mentors that are younger than you. So that's how you keep young and avoid burnout. So thanks, everybody. And thanks for your support too, Leanne.
Absolutely. It's definitely our pleasure.
A little details about our internship. It's a 6-week program. We usually open the application process in early February. This year, like iCAN, we had to take it virtual, which definitely posed some challenges because we're used to physically having them on our campus, but we were still able to connect them. We had over 80 mentors this year. They participated in design thinking workshops, in rounding with physicians and in their clinics. They wrote abstract presentations. They even had some surgical observations and got a robust education in what's going on in the world of data science and artificial intelligence and how that's going to impact pediatric healthcare. And then of course had the wonderful experience of participating in the iCAN conference this year. And even most impressive to me at the end of it, put on a virtual talent show for our mentors, which was very, these kids are amazing. And so, like Dr. Chang said, it's a give, and the rewards that come back to us are exponential. And also knowing that we're investing in changing the way that education is going to be for future generations. And so we are thrilled at this partnership with iCAN. We look forward to having some of your kids that as they are kind of graduating and going into your own young adults program to hopefully be interns with us and to share our internship recipe with our iSPI hospitals.
Thank you, Tiffany and Anthony. We really appreciate it. One other thing that Anthony does for us that's really great is, again, our Ask the Experts series. So he gives an hour of his time every month to meet with our kids, whoever shows up, to talk about different things like maybe the internship program here or a career in medicine, or if the kids have questions about conditions, he's also happy to answer those. So far, it's been a really interesting series that we're super excited to have started. And again, anyone is welcome to join those, not just iCAN children or the some of the adults we invite as the experts. So up next, we are going to have John, and I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to say it right, who started our Uganda chapter. And he is also our continent representative for Africa. We have 3 chapters in Africa. And John's going to tell you a little bit about why it was important for him to start a chapter for his kids in the Uganda area. He's not really near a city, and he knows that truly the health of our children and what they learn about healthcare and how they grow up is really going to make a difference to their population as a whole. And so another thing that we think is really exciting is that John approached us about starting a hospital in Uganda for the kids in the area, not just for healthcare issues like going in when you're sick or needing an operation, but also to create an educational experience for those kids so that they know better what to do during their life to stay healthy and well. So John is going to tell us a little bit about why it was important to start his Uganda chapter. Claire?
I'm John Sentam, the Public Relations Officer of Kids Uganda chapter. I'm here on behalf of the members of Kids Uganda chapter to join the kids chapters around the world and members of iCAN to share our experiences with efforts of iCAN and kids chapters around the world. We are so honored that we are part of this summit, although we are not there physically, but at least we are there as we share with you this message. Kids chapters and the iCAN members have helped us to know that the health of the children matters, and children must be part and parcel of any research, any innovation, and any medication that involves the children. They can contribute, and they feel they need to own the information that concerns them as children, because their health matters much. As experts through iCAN and the kids chapters around the world, we appreciate your readiness, your commitment, passion, and dedication to help these young children appreciate their health statuses, live with those with different health challenges, but find solutions together so that they can all live as healthy children. Any adult takes it a responsibility, making sure that a child is having good health. Therefore, as adults, it's our task on a daily basis to ensure that our children are involved in health-related matters, to help them find the solutions together and work out solutions together. We do believe that by so doing and involving more children, the more solutions. And when it comes to the rural communities, where cultural practices are considered to be healthy practices, whereas they are not, there is a lot that needs to be passed on to the children so that the next generation of adults does not continue to practice those health challenges, cultural practices that pose health challenges. We appreciate everybody that is part of this summit, and we do believe that tomorrow will not be the same as yesterday as regards the children's health. Thank you so much.
Thanks. So I'll just add to our Uganda, the hospital that we're talking about. So what iCAN has decided to do to help Kids Uganda with the hospital is to really make our network available to them. So anyone in our network who thinks that they can help with the hospital, whether it's giving advice, whatever it might be, they would really, really appreciate it. And so we are happy to help make those connections for them if you have an interest in that. Up next, I'm going to bring on Colin Havinge, and he is from the Institute for Advanced Clinical Trials for Children. And they are a new partner for us that we absolutely love. Colin has been exceptionally giving of his time for tasks with iCAN. And he is one of the people helping write the new iCAN curriculum module on clinical research. So Colin, maybe you can talk about IACT a little bit and then just some of the things you've thought about iCAN.
IACT for Children is still fairly new. We're about 3 years old. We're funded through an FDA grant as a public-private partnership. We have approximately US sites of a range, about 80, and then we have connections around the globe to other global networks. And so the fun thing about my job is I get to be sort of at the start and finish of clinical research. We deploy trials in that network, but we also provide advice and guidance. So we see the importance of iCAN as a collaborator, because the patient voice is really, really important in that space. I've known Leanne and Amy since I was at Dell Children's as the director of research there, and continued after I came involved with IACT. And I was asked to lead the educational development module, and as an exciting activity. I'm very inclusive as a person, and meeting people like this that share those same passions for developing youth is really, really important. I think I give Leanne ideas on every call we're on. So, but the idea from this module is really to invest in people as they begin to start learning about clinical research. You know, I think we all can think back to the time where we started learning about, healthcare issues or the scientific questions that come with new treatments. And, by developing this curriculum, the idea is to foster that interest, address questions, but then to tool the new generation to both give advice, to encourage them to be future professionals and peers, and to be involved with us in future research activities, not just as subjects, but also as future investigators. So we welcome folks to participate in the educational module development. Send an email. We're glad to have you on board. And if you have other questions, we're happy to address them. But thank you.
Leanne, I think you're on mute.
Of course I am. Sorry. Somebody had to do it. It might as well be me. So Up next, I want to bring on Lisa Koppelman. So she is another person that has been really great to work with iCAN and making sure that iCAN's kids are very involved in the things that they undertake. So she is at the Multi-Regional Clinical Trials Center, MRCT, and I'll let her tell you just a little bit about MRCT and also about her experiences working with iCAN.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction and really for the opportunity to be here and included in this spotlight presentation. I'm really humbled to be one of this amazing group of committed individuals. Unfortunately, you all have set the bar really high, but let me just run through a few things. I'll very quickly talk about what the MRCT Center is, give a quick snapshot of the Pediatrics Focused Project, and then talk about the work that iCAN and MRCT has been partnering with. So for a bit of context, the MRCT Center is a research and policy center. We are associated with Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston and Harvard University. And in very broad terms, we work to improve the integrity, the safety, and the rigor of global clinical trials. And we do this by engaging a diverse group of stakeholders who define the emerging issues and then figure out how to collaboratively work in a multidisciplinary way to identify the challenges and then deliver ethical, actionable, and practical solutions. We work with a range of stakeholders, patient advocacy groups, industry, clinical trial networks, academia, nonprofits, regulatory, you name it. And of course, we engage with patients and participants throughout all stages of our work. I'll pop into the chat box our website. You can feel free to sort of check out the center more, the work we do, and all of that. But I just want to quickly talk about the Pediatrics Project. And realizing that we come at this from sort of the research and policy perspective, in line with how MRCT scopes a project, we decided a few years back that it was time to focus on issues that relate to promoting a more harmonized approach to the conduct of pediatric clinical trials. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, so I'll keep this really brief, but we all know kids are not little adults. First and foremost, kids absolutely deserve access to safe and effective medications. We know that historically kids are excluded from or underrepresented in research. And there are a range of ethical and regulatory challenges that really lead to what's very tricky to initiate, to implement, and then to conduct the clinical trial. So recognizing some of these challenges, we kicked off a very large and diverse international work group in October of 2019, and we've been meeting regularly since that time. We also realized that with such a large work group, we had better divide and conquer. So we splintered into 3 smaller, sort of more thematically focused work streams. And you know, you can learn about that on the website. Again, I'll pop that into the chat box. But one of the areas of focus for our project involves engaging with kids and families and clinical trial participants. And I'll just highlight one aspect of this as I pivot to the collaborative work that MRCT and iCAN have been engaged with. And I just really do want to say that Amy and Leanne have been unbelievable, steadfast in their support of our project, members of the work group, involved in the smaller work streams, and really tireless collaborators. And we're very appreciative of that. One of several of the larger project focuses has involved how to support kids and families who are interested in participating in clinical trials. So, MRCT always wants to work collaboratively. We don't want to duplicate efforts that are out there. And there's a lot of good work, as we all know, that's ongoing. You all are a testament to that. But one area of focus where we realized there was a gap was in materials that are available to kids who are thinking about participating in a clinical trial. There is a lot of information, but very often it's behind firewalls or it's very specific to a trial or a disease, et cetera. So we had a high school intern. She's now a rising college first year. And she started to develop what has become a suite of educational brochures. And in the process of having the content reviewed and vetted, et cetera, we're really proud to say that we did earn the iCAN seal of approval, and it is, yay, very proudly displayed on the brochure. The first brochure is called Assent to Consent, and it's been released out into the universe through our website. And we're so proud of this brochure because it speaks to the collaborative ways that we work a really nice way that we've been able to partner with iCAN. And I feel like it adds to, again, what's a gap in terms of resources. And the thing that struck me in listening to everybody today is how many pieces we need to put together to round out in a very, three-dimensional way the work that we do. So all I can say is it has been and continues to be a real honor and a pleasure to work with iCAN, and we look forward to continued, collaboration, cooperation as we approach this greater body of work. So thank you for the opportunity, and I will go mute myself.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Colin. It's been really great to work with you all too. So what I kind of want to just wrap up with before we take some questions is that we love working with our kids. They're amazing, and you will love working with them too. And if you have a desire to start a chapter, most of them are associated with a children's hospital, though not all are. Some are associated with other nonprofits, actually. And then there's Diego in San Francisco, so we're excited about him. But if you have any interest in maybe starting a chapter, or if you know kids who want to join the virtual chapter, please reach out and we will make that happen. And then if there's anything you want to do, like Colin so nicely has offered to do, is helping with the curriculum. Again, if anyone has things that you think kids might benefit from that would be good for our curriculum, it could be a video, it could be papers, whatever it is, we're happy to have everybody's expertise give this information to our kids so we can build better advocates for the future. And then we also just want to say thank you again so much to all of our sponsors and all of our partners. It really is the reason that we can exist and give kids these really great and unique opportunities that they just wouldn't get any other way. And I'll just add that we really fully believe that every child everywhere matters and their voice should be heard. So that's, drives everything we do at iCAN. And I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I'm happy to take some.
Hey, Leanne, it's Amy. I don't see any questions in the chat, but I would just like to express some thanks and gratitude for everybody for being here today. Please don't be shy. I like to always tell people that we are the nicest group that you will ever work with, of course, along with iSPI, but we are here to support and help. And if, after this meeting's over and you're sitting down and you're thinking about a question you might have, I've put our emails for both Leanne and myself in the chat. And we also encourage you to go to our website. It's a hub of information in this day and age where not many people are in the office, so to speak. We have this wonderful way of connecting through our virtual capacity at www.icanresearch.org. Oh, and we just got our first question in. So Leanne, I'm going to turn this one over to you. And the question comes from Kirsten Miller, who asks, have you handled any chapters that are not English speaking? That's a great question.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a, Amy, do you want to mute yourself while I talk? I'm hearing feedback. Thanks. Yeah, so we have many chapters who do not speak English. We have them, again, all over the world. Sometimes the kids in the chapters actually do know some English, and so that helps. And that helps when we participate in the conference when we bring them all together. Sometimes the groups will bring an interpreter with them to the conference. Usually that is the chapter leaders helping with that. We have had an issue with our chapter in Asia and Japan. They don't have any kids who speak English, and so that's the biggest barrier for them right now. So we're actively working with a couple of our partners who create materials in other languages to help us get them things where they can still participate in iCAN and still be a part of everything that we do. So yes, we do work with kids who don't speak English as well. It is nice to have them speak English if they come from another country, but we know that's not always possible.
All right, and I don't see any other questions right now, but I'll add to that when we bring the kids together at a summit, language is never a barrier. So regardless of what their native language is, once the kids are starting to work together, they all learn how to communicate, and then they remain fast friends throughout the duration of their time at iCAN, as well as their chapter leaders. So it really is a cohesive environment.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really my honor to be a part of iCAN. And it's the most wonderful organization. And it's just been really, really fantastic. It's the highlight of my day every day when I do something for iCAN. Okay.
I think we're good. I don't see anything else coming in. So I think that just means we did a really great job in explaining what we do.
There you go. Yep. So reach out if you want to do a chapter, reach out if you want a kid to join a virtual chapter, reach out if you want to help us with our curriculum, reach out if you want to work with us at our conference, reach out if you want to be a sponsor or a community partner. We're happy to talk to anyone and everyone who wants to give back to the kids.
Thank you. And to our friends that are tuning in from all around the world, I just saw Alberto wrote in that he enjoyed the presentation too. Thank you for giving up some of your free time as well. We appreciate it, and we're so glad to be here.
Thanks, everyone.